So first off, three guys entered the portal: Giancarlo, Rosado, Nick Boyd, and Vlad Goldin. Two bigs and one guard, and those three guys are going to be testing waters in the portal just to see if they can go somewhere else. But they also stated that there is a chance they return to FAU for the 2024-25 season. So it's not like a done deal, so to speak, yet. But they will definitely be weighing their options. And that is something that is very big for them. The main reason we believe that is because without Dusty, it's a new coaching staff. The team is coming off a kind of disappointing year, so it's natural for them to want to explore new options, you know, maybe to see if they could get some NIL opportunities elsewhere. And it's completely normal, and a lot of people are expecting these guys, if they do pass admissions and they are offered by Dusty at Michigan, to go there. But that's not the point. The point is FAU is losing three phenomenal players, but um, awesome players on the court, but even better off the court. In Nick Boyd, Vlad Goldin, and Giancarlo Rosado. And the biggest, takeaways you can get is this FAU front court without Giancarlo Rosado or Vlad Goldin is going to look a lot different. Now, do I expect John Jacobs to get someone out of the portal? That's a big, probably. But we're going to see a lot of Brennan Orient, Isaiah Gaines, and Trey Carroll in there, which are three guys who have a lot of eligibility yet, who have a lot of potential, and are all high-end three-star recruits. So it's going to be fun to watch that three rotation front court. And and this is assuming that both Vlad and Giancarlo do go elsewhere, and we're also probably going to see a new look guard rotation, especially without Nick. But I want us to keep two guys. I want us to keep at least two guys from the high school class. We got Elijah Elliott, Ty Robinson, and I'm blanking on the third guy's name. But Elijah Elliott and Ty Robinson, two guys who are coming in as three stars. Ty can shoot the three lights out, sharpshooter. And then Elijah Elliott, I haven't watched that much film, but it seems like he gets to the hoop well, and he's an elite scorer. So that's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be fun to see what Jacobs can do. And remember, John O. Davis and Elijah Martin are two leading guard scorers, still haven't entered the portal. So, you know, we did lose three guys: Jalen Gaffney, Brian Greenlee, and Brandon Weatherspoon to the how do I say this? That
Graduation.
to graduation. But we also lost three guys to the portal, so we're losing six of our 10 guys that can probably play as of right now, and two of them being bigs and four really good guards that would average 10 plus minutes per game. But, something people have to realize is we played a majority of last season without both G and Nick. Nick only played, 3 games in the non-conference. He played Eastern Michigan. Bryant, and Loyola Chicago, and then he got like 4 or 5 minutes in FGCU in Arizona. So he played a full 3 games, and Giancarlo was out for like 5 weeks in conference play. So this team knows how to play without them. I'm just concerned about the guard play. Like, are we going to have to see a Jack Johnson or Alejandro Rosado? And no disrespect to either of those, but they're not used to the big stage in the American. If we have to play them, I mean, that should be exciting to see Leo Beth, Alejandro Rosado, or Jack Johnson step up, because we're losing 4 guards in our starting lineup right now. I mean, from last year, we only are returning 2 of our 5 players in our starting lineup. So this team has depth, and this team will be fine, and they will compete for an American championship next year, no matter what happens. Even if these 3 guys leave, and this is assuming no one else leaves besides the 3 guys, they will compete for an American championship, and they will, find some AP votes some way through the season, if the only 3 guys that leave are Vlad, G, and Nick. But this should be really interesting this off season. We're excited to see what Jacobs can do through the portal, and it should be a fun off season. If anyone's got anything, feel free to request to speak.
I got something real quick because I'm on a schedule here, guys. This is Rick, by the way. I don't know if you can tell that. So I got some information, some feedback from a coach, and their hope is they can keep, they didn't say all, but some of the guys that are entering the portal. I think, you're probably going to see Davis in the next 24 to 48 hours. There's a multifaceted relationship there with the flirtation of going pro, and that's also been thrown out there with Vlad as well. I had heard from somebody credible that he was wanting to test NBA waters and also keep his his collegiate eligibility intact as well, like Martin, and Nelly did last year. So this is welcome to the new landscape in college basketball, folks. I mean, it's going to be a soap opera every single season. I think men's basketball has the highest transfer rate of any Division I sport, percentage-wise, and it's only going to go up from here. So, the main takeaway that the staff has really asked to be pushed is try to stay away from the negative stuff, the salty comments. It's not necessary. I'm not running interference for them from a PR perspective, but, it's not going to help anybody. Guy wants to leave, best of luck. We want the ones that want to be here. So that's really it. Hopefully they will be able to entice some people to stay. And I think, NIL plays a big part of that. So the last people that should complain are the ones that are not giving. But that's all I got.
Thank you for that information. And I mean, Davis, that'd be a huge loss too, but we're confident in Jacobs. I mean, his track record has proven that he can do anything, even if the walls are against him, and even if he has a lot of work cut out through the off season where he's gonna have to find, a lot of new guys in the portal. We believe in him, and we have no reason not to.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
If anyone wants to, if anyone has any insight, we really appreciate that insight, Rick. If anyone here has any insight, please feel free to request to speak. And, if not, I'll move into our second topic, which is more so of some guys I have on my list that have ties to Jacobs or FAU that Jacobs could replace anyone. So I'll wait about 60 seconds to see if anyone requests or if anyone has got anything before we move on. If no one does, then I'll transition to my next topic. So feel free to request to speak, anyone listening.
I'll say something real quick that I just thought of. I don't know why I'm getting feedback. I'm not sure if anybody keeps up with the Instagram accounts for these guys. We have a list that we monitor, but in the last 48 hours, two of the guys, well, one of the guys for sure, that's Nick, that are in the portal. They're putting out content for sponsors that are affiliated with the program, former players. Now, I don't know how that works if you go to another school, but the value is in being an FAU player. And I'm not trying to pitch a conspiracy theory and say, well, they didn't go into the portal, because they did. But I think you're seeing confliction here from young men that are, emotionally tied to some place. They also have business arrangements now that they have to still execute, obviously. But I just, at what point do you cut the tie, right? Do you wait till you go to another program and then say, okay, I no longer have NIL responsibility because of the need to support the program that I'm now under? Maybe. But to me, it's just a bit of a tell as to, a truly testing of waters for some of these guys rather than, I'm out of here. I mean, that could just be me, but if I'm reading into things, that's what I'm seeing. Go ahead, JJ.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of it is business related, and them just wanting to set themselves up best for their future life. Which you can't blame them for. But I was just wanting to touch on some guys Jacobs has connections to, and they're not all from Baylor. I have a list of 5 guys. 2 of them are from Baylor, and 2 of them have said, quote unquote, that Jacobs was the main recruiter in their things. I'll start with the guy who I think is most likely, which is Miro Little. Little says that, or multiple sources say that he'll enter the portal soon. He was a 4-star recruit, ranked number 42 nationally by ESPN, which is really good. And he didn't get much playing time last year, only averaging 7 minutes per game. But he did score 1.7 points per game and averaged just over a rebound per game. And this is what he said about Jacobs during his recruiting cycle. He said, quote unquote, I have an amazing relationship with assistant coach John Jacobs and head coach Scott Drew. John Jacobs was calling me over the summer when I was back home. He stayed in constant contact. My parents spoke with him, and my brother Steve did too. He's a very good person. So he said, quote unquote, that Jacobs was one of the main recruiters in his cycle, and he's according to 247, he's not in the portal right now, but he's expected to, test the waters. Just speaking with someone from Baylor, and Jacobs clearly had, a huge reason in why he committed. So it would be a huge get for FAU to get a near 5-star player in Miro Little from the portal. So just keep an eye out on Miro Little. I don't want to, this is from a Baylor guy who said there's about a 60% chance he enters the portal, and if he does, there's a good chance that he follows Jacobs. So just while it's not probable because he's not in the portal, it is. Don't be shocked if he does. Now the guy who is more of a surprise and a more of a not most likely to get to land at FAU, but that's Ray J. Dennis, who has one more year of eligibility left, and he's at Baylor and is most likely going to enter the portal. And if you watched any Baylor basketball this year, you know who Ray J. Dennis is. So Ray J. Dennis, he averaged 14 points per game at Baylor, 4 rebounds and 7 assists. Clearly there was some banter between the players, and he doesn't really like where it's at. He's also, expected to put his name in the portal in the upcoming days, though he's not. But he is someone who said that John Jacobs was the reason he went to Baylor. As great of a recruiter Jacobs, is, it's showing why. And though it's unlikely and kind of a landslide, if or it'd be, I don't know the word, but it'd be a complete shock if he comes to FAU, if he does get in the portal and he does enter his name there. Don't be surprised if he would get a call by Jacobs, if he would consider it, maybe take a little look at it. And we've seen FAU pull some of these guys from some guys from the Power Five. I mean, Brian Greenlee from Minnesota, you know, Vlad Goldin, Texas Tech. It's not that unlikely for a guy from Baylor that's very close with Jacobs to come to FAU. But this Ray J. Dennis guy, he went off for 14 in the Big 12. So if he does come to FAU, that would be insane. So those are the two guys from Baylor that we would give a shot at FAU landing. Most likely Myra Little, but possibly Ray J. Dennis. As both of them said in their recruitment, I'll repeat exactly what Myra Little said. He said this whole thing, quote unquote, about Baylor, it's the right place for me. I believe it's the best place to help me reach my goals of playing in the NBA. I have an amazing relationship with assistant coach John Jacobs and head coach Scott Drew. John Jacobs was calling me over the summer when I was back home. He stayed in constant contact. My parents spoke with him, and my brother Steve did too. He's a very good person. So that's just what he said, quote unquote, last year in his interview on why he chose Baylor, and he brought up John Jacobs. And since John Jacobs is not there, uh, and if he does put his name in the portal, which I've heard is pretty likely, then FAU is a possibility for Little. So we would give both those schools a chance to land him, and that's pretty much what I got with portal updates and stuff in the portal right now. And if anyone wants to request talk about that, feel free. I have a few possible guys that I don't really want to say right now that are not at Baylor because it'd be a huge long shot. It would be like 50 to 1 odds that they land here, but it's possible because they've talked about John Jacobs and how great of a coach he is. So Jacobs is a mastermind at recruiting. He's an X's and O's genius. He clearly won the press conference, and why wouldn't you want to play for him if you're looking for a second chance maybe? So yeah, those are the two guys that I'm looking at Baylor. I see we got some guys in here. Go Bulls, Suey, Ryan. Any of you guys are more than welcome to come up and request. And we want to hear your thoughts on, the FAU future. If you got anything for me or for Richard or Rick, like, absolutely feel free. You guys are more than welcome. I see we got Ryan and Suey. We got Brett in here. Brian. So you guys don't have to listen. You're more than welcome up here to speak.
You got anything for me? Get it now, because I'm bailing out in about 2 minutes.
You heard him first. If you got anything for the FAU Walking Encyclopedia, Rick Henderson, now's the time. Now's the time.
Okay, my parting shot is Vlad is priority number one. Do any and everything you can to keep Vlad Goldin. Guards are dispendable. A lot of guys can shoot 38% from three. Not a problem. But you can't go out and buy guys that are his size with his skill set now. And we need to stay competitive, and that's the way we do it. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you. There you have it. Vlad Goldin should be FAU's first priority. And we think this because not a lot of guys at his height, according to Rick, have the skill set as well. So keeping him would be a huge get. And that's just what we are expecting.